Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of IDoWorkHereLady. In today's episode, what grade are you in? I'm the teacher. Don't be a bitch to your teenager's potential employer. Applicant has to wait 10 minutes and unloads on what he thinks is a low-life underling. No, just the hiring manager. I am the manager, will I need to call the police? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. What grade are you in? I'm the teacher. So, I'm 23F at the time, not a very tall person, 5 feet 3 inches, but I'm very curvy, and have not ever had the issue of being mistaken as a child before. But, I do have a baby face and get some to be younger than older. This happened a couple of years back. I was taking a break between undergrad and grad school, and had decided to teach for a year abroad. I'd taught for a year in the States already, so when I got an opportunity to go abroad and continue teaching, I jumped at the chance. I decided to stay with my aunt and uncles for the summer between graduation and flying to Spain. My uncle worked part-time as a substitute school supervisor for the local district, so most of the kids in the neighborhood early recognized him. One day, when he wasn't on call, we took a trip to the community pool because it gets hot AF in my hometown, 115 degrees Fahrenheit per 45 degrees Celsius, and the AC just wasn't cutting it. We're treading water in the deep end, 5, so my uncle can stand with his head above water. Me. Less so. I'm treading water, but basically you can only see me from the chin up. A family enters the pool and the kids all jump right in the pool. One of the kids, 12ISHY/OM, recognizes my uncle and comes over to join us. He says hi, introduces me as his niece, and we start making small talk. Is he enjoying his summer? What grade is he starting? Which middle school is he going to? Etc. etc. Well, I've apparently piqued this kid's interest, and he starts boasting about staying middle school, years 6 to 8 here. And he's already got friends in the 7th grade, and he's gonna do soccer, etc. etc. I smile and nod and give the standard "yeah dude, that's super cool," to keep the conversation going. My uncle tries to redirect the conversation to put focus on him, cause I'm not trying to get hit on by a kid. Kid's not taking the bait though. He hits me with his smoothest "so, what grade are you starting?" My uncle loses it. He manages to stop laughing long enough to go, "Yeah, OP. What grade are you starting?" Me, I'm actually a teacher. The kid immediately turns red as a tomato. My uncle is laughing even harder now. Kid, mortified, what grade do you teach? Me, preschool. He gave the biggest sigh of relief, and my uncle again starts laughing again. The rest of the summer my uncle would razz me about what grade are you starting until I was getting on the plane to my new job in Spain. Sorry kiddo, I won't get to hang with your cool 7th grade friends. IDO work here. Cringe. Don't be a bitch to your teenager's potential employer. A few years ago I worked as a sales manager for 3 stores. I had approximately 50 sales team members over the 3 stores, and I did everything from interviewing, hiring, inducting, training, rostering, etc. One time we were hiring juniors for after-school shifts. The franchisee arranged some interviews that he had arranged online, and I scheduled those that were walk-ins. Interviews were scheduled in 15-minute intervals, but we had both scheduled a 4 p.m. interview. No biggie. At some time between 3:55 p.m. and 4 p.m., the supervisor interrupts me just before an interview ended. She's got this weird look on her face. There's a lady here. She wants to talk to you now because her daughter has an interview at 4". I finish the interview and go out the front to find Mumzilla, one hand on her hip and the other holding her phone adjacent to her ear, glaring at me. "Hi, how can I help you?" I ask, kinda curiously. "Hi. My daughter has an interview at 4 p.m., still a few minutes away, scheduled by the franchisee. We've been here since 3:30, and now we find out there's another girl here. What is going on? I explained that yes, the boss and I had overlapped at 4 p.m., I was aware, and that it wasn't a big deal. Her tone changed immediately. Oh, okay. Well, should I send my daughter over? Whoever was here first. Well, we've been here since 3:30. She snaps. Well then, send her in. When she came for the interview, I made sure I circled her name. Everyone else who attended got a tick, those who didn't show got a X. This girl had her name circled so I would not forget. She interviewed really well, but truth be told, she'd already failed. I couldn't risk having her mother hovering throughout her employment. At the end, I said, if you're a successful applicant, I will contact you Monday evening. I won't be contacting unsuccessful applicants because there's too many candidates. I told my franchisee about the situation. At about 9:15 p.m. Monday, the franchisee forwards me an email stating simply, "Is this the girl with the mum?" The original email is from the girl's account. Dear Mr. _________, due to management error, I was not on the list of interviews. I did eventually receive an interview, and I was assured I would be informed this afternoon whether I jabbed the position or not. It is now 7:58 p.m., and I have not heard from your company. Is this because I did not get the job, or because once again I have been neglected? I told the franchisee that wasn't forgotten or neglected, so we drafted a reply on his behalf. Dear _____, I can assure you that you were on the list of interviewees as I finalized the list. The manager informed you she would be contracting successful candidates only. Unfortunately, you and your mother were unsuccessful during this recruitment process. Best wishes for future endeavors. The boss and I agreed that it sounded like the mum wrote the email, and that I had dodged a bullet. Applicant has to wait 10 minutes and unloads on what he thinks is a low-life underling. No, just the hiring manager. Caveat: on mobile, non-English, caffeine deprived. Too early for alcohol, is it ever though? Couple of years ago, IF was a manager in a large business. We were expanding and therefore hiring. My assistant set up the interviews. Unfortunately, there was a mix-up in the time schedules and the reception had to tell the next interviewee to be so kind to wait until we were ready to welcome him. Because of the tight schedule, my assistant would get some coffee, and I would pick up the applicant myself. When I arrived in the reception area, less than 10 minutes late, I introduced myself, apologized for the misunderstanding, and asked the guy to please follow me to the conference room. On the way there, he was fuming that we kept him waiting, and that he was too important for wasting his time. I couldn't get in a word. He was very angry. When the interview began, the realization set in that I was in fact the hiring manager, and not the low-life secretary or underling, not that that would have been acceptable. It was quite a short interview. All I had to do was ask him how he thought he would handle unexpected situations, and how I could count on him acting as a professional if I were to let him represent the company to clients. He mumbled, looked very deflated, and ultimately said that perhaps he should be going. I did not stop him. The rest of the interviews that day could run perfectly on schedule. Problem solved. I am the manager, will I need to call the police? I spent years working in restaurant management, and while I never had to call the police on a customer, I did come close twice. This is one of those stories. Back in the mid-90s, I was working at a Little Caesars Pizza. One day a customer walks in, and I started to head up to the front counter, but quickly noticed that another employee was also heading that way. Knowing that she could handle it, I went back to what I was working on. A couple minutes goes by and the employee comes over and lets me know that the woman at the counter wants to see a manager, so I head over to the front and inquire about how I can help here. She tells me that she wants to see the manager. Now this store had 4 managers, 2 assistants below me, myself the co-manager, and the general store manager. Of the 4 of us, I was the only one on duty that day, so I let her know that I am the manager. Her response was, "No, I want a real manager." I let her know that I am a real manager, and that there is no one else there at the moment, but she won't have it. Keeps insisting that I let her see a manager, and after a few minutes of this she is starting to get really upset. During this exchange where she kept refusing to accept that I was a manager, and that nobody else was available, I was finally able to figure out why she was upset. Was her order wrong? Did the employee make a mistake? Or was she rude? No, nothing like that at all. She was upset because she was greeted at the counter by a regular employee, and not a manager. That is it, that is all that happened. When she came and she wanted to be greeted by a manager, not some lowly employee, and then she refused to accept I was a manager. This had her so angry she was getting ready to come around the counter and start a fist fight with me, and at this point I started thinking I may need to call the police to get the women out of the store. I never did call the police because right at this moment another employee, who was off work that day, stopped by to check his schedule. He walks into the store, sees what is going on, and then drags his mother out of the store and sent her away. I didn't know this crazy lady was related to any of the employees, and I never did see her again after that. I did feel kind of sorry for the employee though, because you really never want to go to the place you work and find your mother having a meltdown and threatening to start a fist fight, especially over something so trivial.